The following program is made possible with the support of Papa John's Pizza, Sam's Club, and PortCityDaily.com.
Final edition of Sports Roundtable is coming your way here in just a sec. I'm Joe Katz from PortCityDaily.com, and welcome everyone to our final show as high school football. The high school football season has come to a close here in 2016 in New Hanover County. The Hoggard Vikings went on the road, 74-76 westbound to Laurinburg, back on Friday night for a third-round matchup against the Scotland County Fighting Scots. Scotland County, Division I talent all over the football field. I think the entire county of Scotland County was at Pate Stadium on Friday night for a 4A3 third-round football matchup, and that will bring us to our first guest this evening in Coach Craig Underwood, head coach of the Hoggard Vikings. Coach, off to a 1-5 start this season, I believe it was, and then you reel off 6 in a row to get to this point into the third round of the state playoffs. Right there, we could just pause it for that moment. What a heck of a year you guys had as you look back in the rearview mirror following the season-ending setback to Scotland.
Yeah, you hate for it to end. Scotland's a great opponent, but just proud of the turnaround. Again, you start with, we're used to getting more than one win out of that non-conference schedule, and with that slow start, the kids could have hung it up. And a credit to them for they just continued to work, and we got better each week, and made a good run of it as of late. So.
You go into the third round of the playoffs, Scotland County, Pate Stadium. They've got the video scoreboard. They've got the hoopla, a couple of thousand fans out there. You can prepare a high school kid for so much and leading up to this game, but until you get under the lights on a Friday night and you hear that crowd and you hear the video board making all types of noise out there, I think going into that game, you tried to prepare your team for what they were going to go, the type of environment they were going to go into. And I thought early on in the ball game, not that the environment played a big role, but obviously going up against a quality football program, in addition to those outside things, proved as an Achilles heel for you.
Yeah, we've really traveled well as of late, going to Durham, going to Rose. I will say credit to Scotland County. I even talked to their coaching staff afterwards. Just, y'all do a really good job with the pregame atmosphere being one that is difficult for an opponent, especially the first time you played there. Now that we've been there once, I think it'll be a little different when you travel back. But it's a tough place to play. I give them credit, and obviously they're a well coached, very athletic team. But that atmosphere certainly makes it. If you're in a big time game, but at the same time it's a tough place to play.
I'll say it was fun for me as a sports reporter on the sidelines, being able to get out there and feel what high school football at the top level, the highest level in North Carolina feels like. And I thought, early you get behind the 8 ball a bit, but your boys after the break, you guys responded in a big way. And I thought at least Scotland County, we're going to look back at it and say, those guys were down 4 scores, and they were in that ball game and continued to fight in that second half, and you must be proud of that effort.
Certainly. The first half didn't go our way. We started slow. When you're going into somewhere like that, you've got to start the football game. And we talked about it afterwards in terms of learning and moving ahead. But, again, credit to, our guys that are moving on, our seniors, in terms of just keeping the team together. I mean, coming out, huge drive to start the third quarter, touchdown. Defense wasn't able to contain. The Zamir White, he's a heck of a talent. And so he got a big run on us right after that, which, again, could have, a lot of teams would fold at that point. And our guys continued to battle, 27 points in the fourth quarter. In the second half. Just really proud.
Well, let's take a look at some of the highlights from this third-round matchup in Scotland County. Hoggard Vikings went out on the road and took on a quality Scotland team that looks like they might be winning the state championship this year.
I think they've got a great shot. I really do. Just athleticism everywhere. But there's a young guy we're looking for a lot in the future. Isaiah Kemp started every game at corner this year. Really has incredible potential. Jet sweep. There you see Cullum Crowley coming through, or Christian Holler. Just a great read and going and making a big play. They did some stuff formationally that was kind of got us in a bind a little bit in terms of containing their speed. They found some matchups that gave us trouble. But again, we got some stops in there defensively, but offensively in particular, second half there you saw big Patrick Morrison with a catch. Coming back, a little screen here. Austin Edwards moving the ball down the field. We're really proud of the second half effort and just the resiliency. There you see Josh. Josh has got a big future ahead of him, I'll tell you. He had a great postseason. The offensive line did a great job of giving him that opportunity to have a great postseason. Here we go, just a little quarterback draw. Again, you can see his speed. I mean, that's against some pretty good talent, and he's creasing them there. So I think everyone was a little surprised outside of the guys on our team and our staff with the resiliency of the guys hanging on and, again, continuing to punch it in the second half. There's Josh on a draw. Coach Demick doing a good job spreading them out there and then getting in the end zone. Colin Hare had a great overall game. A huge second half. Again, he's got all the potential to play at the next level. We're trying to get him that opportunity. We got some guys starting to bite after seeing him in this postseason. There he is again, getting behind the coverage. Just does a great job with route running. Trey Hauser does a good job with the play fake there, opening him up. Back on the defensive side, little speed option look, and again, body's just flying football. You see the quickness of Christian Holler there. He really does a good job. That was Landon Romano that forced the pitch. He's coming back. And most of our defense is back. Colin going a one-on-one matchup up and over, who was number 7 is one of the best defensive backs we played this year. And Colin had success against him. So, again, credit to his talent. Guess who? Colin Hare again. Catching the ball down the goal line there.
This was a good play here.
Yeah. Sneaking it out. And big Patrick Morrison, big as he is, able to sneak out there from the tight end spot. I tell you, Patrick had a heck of a career. Really proud of him. Became a true captain for us this year. Really special young man there. All these guys are on the basketball court tonight, so it's starting fast. There's Mackenzie Frazier coming through. Mackenzie played defensive end for us the majority of the year. He's just keeps getting bigger and bigger, so he'll be inside, outside, multiple next year. So get him back for another year as well.
A lot to look forward to moving on to next season. Obviously, potentially another playoff run with a lot of returners, including your quarterback, Josh Jones, will be a senior. But your senior class, you can't speak enough about them. Led by some guys on the offensive side, Patrick Morrison, Tony Allen, Rashad Wallace, Labib Ishmael up front. On the defensive side, you had a number of players, key contributors, Cullum Crowley, Keon Bradley, to name just a few. How much are these seniors going to remember about this playoff run, and really what it was like to play in a place like Scotland County on their final high school game?
Yeah, we told them, the unfortunate piece is that everybody has to have that talk at some point. Only one team gets to, raise the trophy at the end, and just the fact they made it to where they were was a credit to our seniors again. And those juniors, and we actually had several sophomores on varsity this year, so those guys coming back, the future's bright.
Tip of the cap, Coach, to responding and rebounding from a tough start. But talking with you throughout the course of the season, that's why you plan those non-conference games to get yourself set up for a playoff run, and you did just that. Unfortunately, obviously, come to an end in Scotland County, but a heck of an effort from your guys, and nothing to hang your heads about following a pretty impressive effort, especially in that second half against Scotland County.
Appreciate that.
That's Coach Craig Underwood, just wrapping up his second full season as head coach of the Hoggard Vikings. Coach Underwood and Hoggard will be back next year. They've got a number of big-time returners coming back to that lineup. As I mentioned, just one of them in quarterback Josh Jones, a guy that should be getting some looks at the next level as he heads into his senior season. Thanks for Coach Underwood for stopping by, wrapping up high school football for the year here in 2016. We'll have the high school basketball coaches in beginning with 2017, our first show in 2017 here on Sports Roundtable. But coming up after the break, we're going to shift gears a little bit and catch up with Laney High School golf standout Caroline Cahill. Cahill finished third in the North Carolina High School Athletic Association for a championship at Pinehurst this fall and is also headed to continue her golf career at UNCW. Caroline Cahill coming up next here on Sports Roundtable.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Listen now, can you hear the bluebirds? Oh, look up now, can you feel the sun? Whoa, 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 whoa. Can you feel the sun?
You definitely have to have nerves of steel.
I would not trade this for anything.
You wake up and you don't want to do it, but once you're into it, it's hard to stop.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Roundtable. I'm Joe Katz from PortCityDaily.com. Thanks again to Coach Craig Underwood for stopping by, recapping the final football game of the season here for our teams in southeastern North Carolina in New Hanover County. The Hoggard Vikings saw their 6-game winning streak again come to a close following the setback at Pate Stadium in Scotland County. As we wrap up our final edition of Sports Roundtable for 2016, it's always a good time to catch up with some of our student athletes and teams that are doing big things other than football and basketball, as we highlight on this show each week. And that will lead me to my next guest, Laney High School senior Caroline Cahill. Caroline is a standout golfer for the Bucs. She's been that for the last couple of years. She finished 3rd place individually overall at this year's North Carolina High School Athletic Association 4A Championship, was the regional winner moving into states, and she helped guide the Bucs to back-to-back Mid-Eastern Conference championships. So joining me here on set again is Caroline Cahill, also a UNCW golf commit. So Caroline, it's welcome to our Sports Roundtable show, and I appreciate you stopping by tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Caroline, obviously golf, a game that includes many different aspects to it, from the mental side to the physical side. Talk a little bit about your run this year as a senior, leading the Laney golf team to a 2nd straight conference title, and then of course your big individual performance at states.
As a senior, there's definitely an expectation that you set for yourself. You want to do just as well as you did the past 3 years, and then a little bit better even. I think I definitely wanted to come in, be conference champion again, and do my best at regionals and states. And
well, you take the regional down, and then you go out to Pinehurst back-to-back weeks, and you finish 3rd place overall in a field of about 100 or so golfers here crossing the entire state when it comes to the high school level. But before we get to maybe your state performance, when did you start playing golf as a kid?
My parents got me a plastic set of golf clubs when I was 2. And I guess I entered some local stuff when I was about 7, but I didn't really start taking it seriously or have the passion for it until I got to high school.
So you gain a passion for it at a very young age, or you at least gain the tools necessary to get yourself to learning about a passion in sports, and that being golf. Take us through a typical week of practice. How many days or how many hours do you often practice a week, and what goes into a typical session, as you call it?
Okay, well, when I'm in the grind, which I was for probably 3 years, it's practice every day. I'll probably go to the range 3 days a week and then try and play a couple of days a week. with a different focus like every day.
Get into an actual competition after all that practice, all the grind of you trying to stay focused. There are plenty of ups and downs that go through every not only hole, but each time you address the ball, whether it be on the tee box or hitting an iron from 160, 170 yards out to the short game, chipping and putting. What are some of the things that you try to use mentally to get yourself refocused each and every shot, as that next one is the most important shot that you're going to take?
Absolutely, that's the key. You got to keep looking forward. You can't look back. The next shot is the most important. You got to think about, my brain just goes to what's the lie, what's the wind, how do I feel today, what's the swing doing, and I guess I just get wrapped up in that and don't really feel much else.
So a short-term memory is definitely a key to your success, and not just your success, anybody's success when they get on the golf course.
Absolutely, yep. Going
into this year, obviously, Laney won the conference championship last year. You roll to it along with another teammate of yours, Jayla Rogers, who had a pretty good season as well. When you have a player like Jayla next to you, or any type of competitor that's next to you, how much, I don't want to say easier does it make it, because golf is not an easy game. But when someone's next to you pushing you to be better each and every day, how does that result for yourself getting the best performance out of you?
I enjoyed all 4 years of high school golf at Laney, but it was really fun having Jayla as a teammate to push me and keep me on my toes. And just to be able to go out and play with her, just keep the competitive edge kind of in a season where usually you're not as sharp as you are in the summer or spring.
Now going, practicing with somebody like Jayla as a teammate, but then you get to a regional competition or a state competition, and you're playing against other, competitors, obviously. What kind of fire does that give you when you see, a competitor that you're playing alongside hit a good shot or drain a putt? How much motivation does that give you to, take that extra stride to be better?
I think when it gets down to the wire, the last few holes, I think it could definitely have an impact on where your mental game is. But I usually tune out kind of what everybody else is doing and just try to play to par. And yeah, just
see where it takes you.
Yeah, hit it, find it, hit it again.
Third place at the North Carolina High School Athletic Association 4A Championship this year. Yeah. Is that where you hoped to be in the top 5? Obviously, you would like to come home with a trophy, but
yeah.
A top 5 finish to be number 3, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I after finishing second in the 2015 states, I really wanted to take down Jennifer Chang and win it this year, but she played solid and so did Carrie, so they deserved it.
Well, great effort. You played 2 straight days, and that's a little different than a regular, during the regular season where you play a match, just 1 per week, 18 holes. What kind of mental toughness do you have to play in back-to-back rounds and back-to-back days?
Yeah, you just have to pace yourself. Don't get too wrapped up in any one shot. Just know that there's at least 35 more holes to play. So,
well, as we wrap up our conversation this evening with Caroline Cahill, Laney High School senior, going to be a UNCW freshman next season. I know you probably had offers or were looking at a number of different schools as far as continuing your golf career at college. What went into going to UNCW and deciding to sign with the Seahawks?
It was probably there's so many reasons that went into the decision, of course, but I'd say Coach Cindy Ho had a huge part to do with it. The girls on the team are really, really great girls, and I can't wait to be teammates with them. What's not to love about Wilmington, and just to be near my dog. And UNCW is a great school. We figured out a way to make, what I want to study right now, make that work with the school.
With UNCW.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to catching up with you and following your golf career when you head into college. Caroline Cahill, Laney High School senior, 3rd place finish at the North Carolina High School Athletic Association 4A Golf Championship at Pinehurst. Caroline, thanks for stopping by this evening, and we look forward to watching your career progress in college.
Thank you so much.
It's Caroline Cahill of the Laney High School Buccaneers, senior standout for the Bucks. She's going to play her college golf right here in town at UNCW. Look for her at the Landfall Tradition come next year as she hopes to continue her impressive career at the next level. That will do it for our final edition of Sports Roundtable here in 2016. High school basketball on tap. We will be catching up with the coaches from across New Hanover County, boys and girls, as we head through 2017 into the new year. For New Hanover County Schools TV, I've enjoyed myself once again this year talking with high school football coaches from across New Hanover County, highlighting our 4 football programs here in New Hanover County. For everyone here at New Hanover County Schools TV, have a happy holiday season. I'm Joe Katz, and we'll talk to you in 2017.